Honourable Member for Dennery North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I commence yet another presentation in this Honourable House, I want to take the opportunity to once again thank the people of Dennery North, this time on the eve of Ash Wednesday and on the eve of the commencement of the holy season. Madam Speaker, having sat in my chair this morning listening to the debate, it reminded me of the words of a former New York governor who said that politicians, a lot of them, they campaign in poetry and they govern in prose. And the simple understanding of that, Madam Speaker, is that when some politicians are on the campaign trail, they say one thing. And after having won the election and find themselves in government, the storyline changes and it is a totally different conversation. Now, Madam Speaker, as I understand the motion before us, it is supposed to be procedural. It is supposed to be something that should have gone through the House this morning in perhaps half an hour, 40 minutes, and then the business of the day would have been done and would have been completed. But what is most astonishing, Madam Speaker, is the extent to which people can forget the things they said when they were on the opposite side of the parliamentary aisle. And for us to be an effective parliament, Madam Speaker, I believe every single one of us must find it in our resolve to embrace objectivity as we attend to the business of this country. Madam Speaker, all the speakers before me, or presenters before me, took the latitude to wish St. Lucians a happy independence celebration, 35th anniversary that is. 39th, sorry, Madam Speaker. Maybe the preschool math is getting to me. But Madam Speaker, before I proceed further into the substantive matter before us, with your indulgence, if you allow me, I want to make two very brief points which I consider very important and should be mentioned in this Parliament. Firstly, Madam Speaker, I want to implore all the teachers and students and house-masters who are organizing sports meets for the different schools and the different students in our country. As a former minister responsible for youth development and sports, I need to say that this was a period in the year that I always look forward to. And there was nothing that spurred me on as minister more than seeing children exciting themselves and enjoying themselves in physical activity. Because I believe, Madam Speaker, by organizing those activities, we are sending a very important message to our young people that they need to engage in physical activity as an inexpensive way of combating some of the chronic non-communicable diseases we have in this country. Madam Speaker, secondly, and lastly, before I return to the motion before us, I want to express my sincere condolences to the families of all the young people who have perished amidst the carnage on our roads in recent times. Madam Speaker, most recently, we lost a young cricketer by the name of Nick Elibox from Mac in Castries, Southeast. He is a young man, Madam Speaker, whom I knew very well. I worked with him, and I followed his career very, very closely. And it was very heart-wrenching on the morning, that Sunday morning, when news broke that Nick had met his demise in a vehicular accident. His loss, Madam Speaker, is one that is suffered by the entire sports fraternity, in particular the cricket family, the Windward Islands cricket setup, and I'm sure, Madam Speaker, had he not been cut short by this unfortunate incident, he would have been one of the many young cricketers I'm hoping would have gone on to represent the West Indies in the coming years. So, Madam Speaker, my prayers and thoughts are with the families of the young persons whom we've lost, in particular the family of Nick Elibox. Madam Speaker, the motion before us this morning is no less morbid and depressing. And the posture we've assumed here as an opposition is one that we are duty-bound to assume on behalf of the people whose interests we represent in this Parliament. I am not one who believes that an opposition should oppose only for the sake of opposing. We have to be more objective than that. And today, Madam Speaker, we have a legitimate reason to question what is before us. Madam Speaker, I remember sitting on the other side of the House between 2011 and 2016. And this very motion, the only thing that is different to what is before us today are some of the figures and the date at which the motion is being presented. And you should have heard some of the members opposite, one in particular. We were excoriated, we were chided, we were criticized for borrowing. And we were constantly reminded that we were exacerbating an already bad debt situation for the country. But today, the shoe is on the other foot, and justification is being provided. Sometimes the quality of the debate is not reflected in the amount of noise you make in here, you know, but the words that you speak, the spoken words, the things we say. Today, Madam Speaker, there are a number of St. Lucians who supported the United Workers' Party in the elections of 2016. And for them, a lot of expectations have been violated. We've known for a while now that the cash flow situation in the country was not what any one of us would have wanted for our country. But I made the point before, in this honorable House and on platform. When, as a responsible government, we took a position and we told St. Lucians what the situation was with our finances in this country, it was convenient for the then opposition party to present a picture that everything would have been okay once you had voted for the United Workers' Party. There would have been ching-ching in the pocket. There would be no unemployment in St. Lucia. Everybody would be at work, and things would have been cook and curry, as we say, Madam Speaker, for all St. Lucians. But today, Madam Speaker, and it is a question that is very genuine. We've been told, and St. Lucia is a very small society, and we always know what is happening within the corridors of government, within the confines of the parliament, and even in the private sector. Madam Speaker, we've been told, and reliably so, that the date for the annual budget or the national budget has been advanced, and that we will be having budget for the first time in a long time, if not for the first time, in the month of March. March, Madam Speaker, is a mere week and a half away. What is the urgency? What is the urgency that must cause the government to come into the parliament a mere week and a half, 2 weeks before the presentation of the annual budget to borrow $55 million? It is a question, Madam Speaker, that I believe is worth explaining, so as to understand not just my understanding as the member for Dennery North, but all the other persons who are following this debate as it goes on. Madam Speaker, I cannot recall, as I said, this having happened prior to today. So, as my colleagues on this side have said, Madam Speaker, the debt situation that confronts our country today is one that needs urgent attention. And we cannot continue to borrow in the manner that we've been borrowing. Every government, not just in St. Lucia, but the entire OECS, must borrow, because we do not have the capacity to raise revenue whereby, Madam Speaker, whatever we have to spend would be equal to the amount that we are able to raise. So borrowing is a must. Borrowing is a must. But we have, Madam Speaker, to borrow for things that will impact the lives of our people. The Prime Minister has said before, and the point was further accentuated by the member for Castries South East, whereby the Prime Minister said that for every new loan or debt situation he's going to embrace, there will be a revenue stream to address that. Madam Speaker, if this is going to happen, I will be one of the first persons to lend support to it. Because I understand, objectively, that a worsening debt situation for this country is not a problem only for the United Workers' Party. But it's a problem for us on the opposition side, and it's a problem for all of St. Lucia. But how does that borrowing impact the lives of the people in the community? Am I to assume, Madam Speaker, that this $55 million will cause the Ministry of Health to reinstate the Larissos Health Center that has been out of commission for 2 years? Am I to assume, Madam Speaker, if this level of borrowing, that the Lapel Road in my constituency will be resurfaced? And am I to assume, Madam Speaker, that with this level of borrowing, some of the schools in this country wouldn't have to postpone or cancel their sports meets because some of the playing facilities are out of commission? If the money being borrowed, Madam Speaker, is to impact some of the people I've mentioned in a positive way, I have absolutely no difficulty with it. But there are a couple issues here at play. You say one thing on the campaign trail, and when reality hits you in the seat of government, not only do you change your storyline, but in some cases you can't even muster the courage. You can't even muster the courage to come and tell people the situation as it is. So, Madam Speaker, some of the questions I've asked today are genuine questions that the people of Dennery North would like answered. With this, Madam Speaker, I conclude my contribution to the debate on this motion.